This is Formula Side Quests, your mostly on-topic Formula One podcast, hosted by me, Kelly,
and me, Shannon.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Formula Side Quests, your mostly on-topic Formula One podcast with me, Kelly.
And me, Shannon.
Yes, we promised you summer break content. I will apologise for not being as quick as we could have been.
No, I mean, let's face it, this is going to come out after the season restarts again, probably, unless you can get it out this week.
I'll get it out this week.
Fair enough. But no, we haven't been. We also had a summer break.
Yeah.
It's been the busiest period of work for me.
Yeah.
So we sort of just didn't slightly.
We've not even seen each other much.
We've barely really seen each other at all. No.
In fact, to see you, I actually had to come to your work.
Yes, that's how much I've been working, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. However, there was an episode we did promise you.
There's an episode we've been promising, I think, since day dot, to be entirely honest.
Yeah, I think it was like definitely within the first 3 episodes we were like,
we need to talk about this. But also I think we probably, when we were first like, should we do this? Let's do this. I think we probably went, yeah, we're going to have to talk about that at some point.
We are.
Yeah.
So this episode is a wonderful deep dive into the final race of the 2021 season, that is the Abu Dhabi Yas Marina circuit race that decided the 2021 championship.
Probably one of the most controversial Formula One races in its entire history.
Yes.
Which is saying something, because there's been a lot of controversy across Formula One in the last 76 years.
Yes, this is a sport that's been going for a very long time.
Yeah, and a lot of things have happened within it.
A lot of things have happened.
Lots of drama. Lots of... then again, the drama is mostly off the track. When it comes to controversies.
Yeah.
It's rare that there's controversies when it comes to racing, unless you're looking at the 2026 season.
Well, I mean, we'll come to that in our roundup of the 2026 season.
Where I'm basically just sit there and scream, I think.
Yeah. No, that's a fair point. I would like to say that we sat down and watched it. We couldn't actually find a full freaking race anywhere.
So we tried really hard. So you've got a streaming service that has old races on it, but they didn't have anything beyond 25, which is weird because the beginning of this year, we watched Monaco 24.
We did.
Just to watch Charles's home win, because sometimes you have to give yourself a little bit of serotonin. The world's on fire, quite literally.
Yeah.
But so it wasn't on there. It's nowhere on YouTube unless you want it with Spanish commentary, which we weren't entirely sure we could handle.
No.
And then the one stream that we found of it, there was literally an advert every 2 minutes, and it was driving us crazy, and it probably would have taken us the entire day to watch the race.
Yeah.
So we ended up on YouTube with Sky Sports 15-minute highlight video, which was not ideal.
It wasn't.
However, as we were going through it, we were both looking at each other and going, oh god, yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
Like it, we both watched that race.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been live, but we both watched that race at the time.
Yeah.
As it was unfolding, and it was actually no, was it still on BBC at that point?
No, it was on ITV.
Was it ITV then? So we might have watched it live. I can't remember, but it sort of all came flooding back to us as we were looking at it, including who was with what team.
Yeah. Oh.
And you're going, hey, so at the start you went, we need to remember colours, and I was like,
yeah.
Is Danny Rick with McLaren? Danny Wick, he is.
So Danny was with McLaren.
But McLaren are papaya at this point, okay?
Yes.
And then, oh my god, look at the Ferrari. That's the ugliest red I've ever seen.
And the green. I can't even remember what the sponsor was for the green.
It was like Kick Sauber green before Kick Sauber was a thing on top of the Ferrari.
Yeah. No Kick Sauber, of course.
No Kick Sauber. AlphaTauri was still in existence.
Alfa Romeo
were DNFing left, right, and centre.
Not surprised.
It was very like wholesome.
Yeah, definitely. It was just like, oh, look at that. Oh my god, I remember that. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
And then looking at the baby faces. Oh my god, Lando Norris.
But how old would he have been there?
Oh, that's a very good point. Actually.
Teens?
He would have been 20.
Yes, he would have been 20. Yeah, because he's 26 now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So teen, like a just out of teens Lando. Yeah.
It was like literally like Lando Norris, George Russell. It's like watching Kimi Räikkönen and Kimi Räikkönen. Sorry, it's just because I've seen him
because
on
we've
the
just
TV.
watched Kimi Räikkönen.
Oh my God, wrong Kimi again. Sorry, Kimi.
Sorry, at least it wasn't the podium announcement this time.
No, that's very true. It's just a podcast that he's probably never going to
listen to, so it's fine. Whoops.
Kimi Antonelli,
yes,
of course, and Arvid Lindblad.
Yeah, because it was 21 was their second year. 2019 was their rookie year.
Yeah.
So 2021 would have been their second year.
Second full year, yeah.
Second full year.
Madness.
Just crazy. Anyway.
Crazy. So, all right then, quick recap. Very quick recap of the 2021 season. Literally running up to Abu Dhabi, we've got 2 front runners. That's Lewis and Max. And it was very similar to Lando and Oscar last year in that one would overtake, then the other one would overtake, and then it was sort of very yo-yoing between them.
It was very, very yo-yoing. I think the key marquee difference is that there was no one else really
there
in
was
contention.
No one else, no. And I think that really stood out because by the time you get to Abu Dhabi, you've got Lewis and Max on equal points, and then whoever came in third, and I really cannot remember who came in third, was like over 150 points below them.
It has to be Checo, right?
No, I think Checo came in fourth.
You vamp while I check.
Yeah. So we've got a lot of yo-yoing between Lewis and Max all the way throughout the season. It's not just yo-yoing with regards to points and finishes, but also on-track battles. And of course, we've got so many classic examples of incidences where Lewis DNF'd or Max DNF'd, and everybody's then going, once that has happened, oh well, Max didn't finish, so it's Lewis's championship. Oh my God, Lewis didn't finish, it's going to be Max's championship. And it was just that insane back and forth all the way through. When you get to Abu Dhabi, they are on level points.
Yeah. It's exactly like you say, very Lando and Oscar-esque of 25, of like, oh, he's definitely got it. Oh no, he's definitely got it. Oh no, he's definitely got it. And that, like, it was a whiplash for that entire season of people being like, basically, well, it's Lewis Hamilton. Of course he's got it.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, in my household at the time, it was like, well, obviously it's Lewis.
Exactly, and it was the same in my household as well. But then it was, wait a second, who the fuck is this Dutch kid?
Yeah.
You know, like, he's been there for 3 seasons at this point.
Yeah.
But he really, like, showed his colours instantly. And it's like, wait a second.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like you say, it completely yo-yoed all the way through. So it was actually Valtteri that came in at third.
Of course it was.
But the championship finished, so Lewis was on 387 points in second. Valtteri was on 226 in third.
Yeah.
And then Checo was in fourth at 190.
Yeah.
So, you know, it just goes to show what the car dominance again.
Yeah.
If anyone, actually, to be in touch, this is a really good, like, marker. If anyone wants to turn around and say that the one thing that the new regs have done is pull a car all the way out to the front and left the others in its dust, that's always happened.
Yes.
That's always happened.
Yes.
If there's one thing that the regs of 26 haven't done, it's make one better than the other.
Yeah.
What it's done is made more equally shit. It hasn't made one better. But anyway, in 21, it was Red Bull and Merc, and no one touched them. I mean, you know, after that, you've got a mixture of your Ferrari drivers and your McLaren drivers. They weren't championship contenders in 21, constructors or drivers.
No, not at all.
So, you know, it was another one of those, exactly like this season. It's going to be a Mercedes driver. Let's be real. Maybe a Red Bull driver. It just depends who. And then when you've got Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen, it was always going to be between them. But at the time, because Max was so new,
and still technically, because of the issues that we had around racing during COVID, technically still very much a baby rookie.
Yes, because his rookie seasons had been 2 seasons pre-COVID and then 2 seasons of COVID.
Yeah. So obviously by the time we get to 21, we have now got the perception of Mad Max.
Yes.
21 definitely was the season where that nickname started to become very public within the newspapers. And I'm going to say newspapers and not social media, because that really wasn't
it
a
kind
thing.
of was newspapers at that point. Yeah, even only 5 years ago.
Even
it
only
was
5 years ago.
probably driven by physical media more.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's when you start getting... I mean, I genuinely, I cannot remember which race it was, but I remember watching Sky Sports and watching Martin Brundle do the grid walk, and this is towards the end of the 21 season, and he was chatting to some celebrity, I say in air quotes.
Yeah, she literally did say in air quotes.
And they were like, "Oh, I'm here for Mad Max." And I remember that so vividly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are people calling him Mad Max? And I know we're going to talk about this because we've already made notes about this.
We've made a note about
other drivers.
Yeah.
Because I never saw him as that. I always saw him as a very controlled driver.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because in my household, Max Verstappen was a dirty name. It's so interesting because so I had to do quite a lot of convincing of my parents across the end of the 24 season into the 25 season that Max wasn't the dickhead effectively that everyone was making him out to be. He's matured and he's mellowed significantly in the last couple of years, and that has helped. He totally, like, I'm not going to defend him completely. He had moments in his early years that were fucking stupid. He made some really stupid decisions in his early years of driving. He made some unsafe decisions in his early years of driving. But haven't they all? Lewis had a time where you're watching him drive and you're going, the fuck are you doing?
I mean,
they've all done it.
Yeah. Like Lewis, and specifically Lewis and Nico.
2016.
Lewis and Nico Rosberg.
Stupid
they
decisions.
Were seriously fighting on track.
Absolutely, to the detriment of themselves and the team.
Exactly.
As we saw in that famous crash in Silverstone in 2016.
Yeah.
They've all done it. I would say that Kimmy's having some moments at the moment where you're going, kid, what are you doing? Yeah. And it's hilariously, it's all to do with track limits.
But this is my point, and I don't know whether it's because I was brought up in a household whether it was because my mother was a Ferrari fan or whether my mother was like a genuine F1 fan and, you know, like people around her just didn't give her the credit, because this is where most of my knowledge comes from. But Michael Schumacher was a god.
Yeah.
And
he did some dickhead driving.
This is it. This is it. But what I remember is, like, especially his last season, his last championship. And I remember there being so much in the media about him being a dirty driver, about him being a dirty German driver.
Now, this is the thing we need to pick up on, because the Mad Max media perception was all British journalism.
Exactly.
Every single bit of it was British journalism. And I would bet a good chunk of money that if he wasn't fighting a British driver for his first championship,
100%,
that there would have been very different media perception of him.
100%.
Or if Lewis had been fighting someone else for the championship, there would have been a different media perception of them. Max has had issues with the British media for his entire career, even up until this season, where he has kicked British journalists out of press conferences because of the types of questions that they're asking him. There are certain British journalists, I believe, that he refuses to speak to from certain papers and media outlets, that they have to then send other journalists to talk to him. They curated a perception of him that I fell for hook, line and sinker, to the point in which it was only in 2024 that I started to like Max Verstappen. But I think it was because he was fighting the British driving god of Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
But that perception is so interesting. And there's one key moment that we'll come to in this race that we both looked at each other and went, hang on a second, that was the voice of 2025, 2026 Max Verstappen that would have been picked up by the media now and heralded as a, look how mature, look how lovely, look how much of a team player. But that was never mentioned back then.
Glossed over even.
Massively. So that shift is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So leading up to this race, as you say, it's been yo-yoing the entire season, but it's been yo-yoing in terms of the Max is taking it away from Lewis. Lewis is taking it back.
Yes.
Max is taking it away. Lewis is taking it back.
Yeah, it's not Max has gained through it, his driving ability or his skill or his talent. No. He's taken away from Lewis. Yeah, you are so right.
That's the way that it was presented. And this is not to say, and I think we probably need to make this exceptionally clear, we both love Lewis Hamilton.
Oh God, yes.
And as it's not a spoiler in me saying this, that was his championship to have.
Yes.
That's our perception. That was his championship to have. We have said this before. This is our 21st episode. We've probably said it 20 times. Near as damn. But what I really want to get across in talking about this is the level playing field.
Yes.
That was screwed up by a third party.
Yes.
So when we talk about who deserved this championship and the fact that it was an unfair gain on Max's point of view in a way, it's not his fault.
No.
And that's the major thing that I want to get out there is that the reason we're defending Max so highly is that for this championship, he has been trashed on so hard.
100%.
But none of it was his fault, because what the fuck would you have done?
Yeah.
If that situation... I need to probably stop and we need to come to this when we actually speak about the race. But if that situation... Okay, hold that question in your mind, listeners. As you're listening to this, as we're deconstructing this, hold the question in your mind. If you were presented with that situation, what the fuck would you have done? Would you have held back? Or would you have gone for it? And that's the question that we need to...
100%.
As we deconstruct.
All right, okay. Let's go for it.
Let's go.
Let's go for it. Can I just say before we start?
Yes.
You made the point as we were watching. There was only 19 cars on the track.
Oh my God. The intro of all of the drivers. And we got to the end, because obviously they did it. They used to change it for championship standing. So they change it every race. The order that everyone popped up would be championship standing, not race numbers or not previous year championship standing. Is that how we did it?
Yeah. So we've done this for the last, I think it's 3 years. It's previous championship standings,
and we don't change it. Whereas we used to, they changed it up every week, depending on how the championship had changed. So we got to Max because Lewis and Max because they were level in the championship, and my brain genuinely went, "Where's the rest of them?" I was like, where's the rest of them? Because obviously Mazepin wasn't driving because he had COVID.
Yes.
/ they were in the movement of trying to fire him.
Yes.
I think the COVID was a very
it was a great excuse to go.
It was a really good excuse to be like, "No, you're not going to be here, dude.
Sorry, mate."
Because then he never drove again.
Jog on.
Actually, no, sorry. They fired him mid-22, didn't they? So he did drive again, but then he got axed.
Yeah.
It's his own fault. He was also a terrible driver. So, all in all, Mazepin, off you go. So yeah, we only started with 19 cars on the grid, which when we now start with 22, usually, unless someone's smoking in the corner already. Valtteri Perez. It was quite weird.
Yes.
It was like, where are they all?
Yes.
Who was still having a cup of tea and has forgotten to get in the car.
Like, it's only 3 cars shorter.
But it felt
so much shorter.
Because the intro now with 22 of them is like, still go. Like, you can go and have a wee and make a cup of tea while the intro is happening at the moment. There's so many of them.
And still be back in time.
For crofties. Good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Like, you can still make it back in time. If, who's bottom? It's bound to be a Cadillac. If Perez or Bottas pops up, you're just like, oh, I've got 5 full minutes to go and sort myself out before the coverage starts. Excellent, So yeah, it was weird. And then, like we were just saying, we had to be like, okay, Danny Rick's in McLaren.
Yeah.
Vettel's in Aston, which is something that I completely forgot was a thing. Alfa Romeo exists on the grid.
Yeah. George is in Williams.
George is in Williams and looks about 12. Like,
he really did.
It was a very sort of, but equally, it was like very, like we said before, wholesome. It was very sort of like, oh yeah, I remember this.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so.
Right, okay, so Max was on pole, Lewis was second. We then have Lando Norris in third and Checo in fourth for Red Bull, which, oh my God.
It was one of those like,
oh. I remember those days.
Yeah, back when Checo used to not be last all the time.
Yeah. Bless him. Yeah. So yeah, we race. It was oof.
It's mental, isn't it? I think it just calls to our love of this sport, because this was 5 years ago.
Yes.
We know, God, do we know what's going to happen?
Yes.
And yet they go off the line. Lewis and Max are battling into the first corner. Lewis gets ahead and we're reacting like we're watching it live for the first time. We're like, oh my God, come on. And Lando goes wide and we're like, Lando, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And like we're reacting to it. But Lando going wide allows Checo through and up to third, which means that we've got Lewis ahead. But now Max and Checo being able to tag team each other. And that was possibly one of the most important
100%.
moments of that race, I would say.
100%.
Because we both said, well, I think you said first, we forgot Perez's involvement.
How important he was, not just in Abu Dhabi, but how important he was throughout the entire season.
Yeah.
And like, I think you said this, how much of an excellent teammate he was to Max.
To the point in which it really brings into focus, and so many things have brought this into focus over the last few years, but it really brings into focus how under Horner, Red Bull just screwed their second driver consistently every time, because Checo never should have lost that seat.
No.
If you look at the way he was the pinnacle of a team player, he never should have lost that seat.
And it's not just a team player in regards to what was happening on the track. He genuinely was a teammate to Max.
He was wonderful to Max. Max speaks so highly of him. Not as highly as he speaks of Danny Rick, which makes my heart very warm. But he was a great mentor.
Yeah.
But everyone sees it as he should have been the other championship contender. Yeah, if they'd stopped screwing his strategy to sacrifice him and save Max every race, which is kind of what 2021 ended up for Checo.
Exactly right.
And then they get pissed off that he lacks performance. And that is kind of what happened up until 2024 when they axed him completely. That Red Bull second seat curse started with Checo.
Yeah.
Kind of, really. Yes, so we were remembering how like important he was in this, because he then manages, I think through pitting, doesn't he? He then manages to be ahead of Lewis.
Yes. Well, so it's the first round of pitting and he comes out just behind Lewis and then manages to overtake him.
Yes. In what I could only describe to be one of the dirtiest moves I've ever seen. And we both looked at each other and went, oh my God, we forgot how dirty Checo drove. Yeah. But he drove so dirty. And they used to get away with it. Like, you're watching that and you're going, God, the FIA wouldn't let that slide if it was now.
Well, no, because George would be there somewhere going, excuse me, that
was against the rules. Someone would have been. Let's remember, though, that Max Verstappen is the second most knowledgeable about that rule book.
That's very true. It would depend on who was behind that, seeing it.
But yeah, on a relatively dirty move that made me wince.
I mean, this is how dirty the move was. These are the old style box cars that were relatively quite high up off the ground. In comparison to cars of today.
We weren't in the full force of the ground effect era yet.
We were not. And there were sparks.
Yes. And he was on the dirty line and he kicked up everything under the sun.
Yeah.
And got past him. And no one questioned it.
Nobody said a
thing.
word.
No one questioned it. And I was like, okay, Perez is here. So yeah, he overtakes, but then just is I was going to say violent with his defense. That's kind of unfair. What's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know, but I mean,
it was forceful.
Yes.
His defense was forceful.
Yes.
It was you aren't fucking coming past because
like
my teammates
he is a brick wall.
He's a brick wall. He became a brick wall, but you don't actually realise, or you forget how much he held Lewis up and what that did for Max. Checo managed to hold up Lewis for long enough that Max closed down a 7-second gap within like 3 laps, which is just testament to A, Checo's brick wall, and B, Max's driving.
Yeah.
And Lewis was, oh my God, was Lewis trying to get past him?
Yeah, he was.
Like, he really was. So, but then by the time Lewis gets past him, Max is in 7 seconds.
Yeah.
So Lewis gets past Perez, but immediately Perez's engineers on the radio going, right, hold back, hold back, hold back. And Perez literally stomps on the brakes, allows Max to come round him instantly the second Lewis is past him, so that Max just slots into this gap and suddenly there's nothing between them.
Yeah.
As a strategy goes, as a teammate goes, you have to hold your hands up and say that was stunning.
Yeah. No matter what you think, and again, we've probably voiced this many a times, of Christian Horner. And that's the last time I'm going to say his name.
Oh, what should we refer to?
Dickhead.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, Karen.
He understood how to create a strategy that worked. Now, obviously, it's not him that's coming up with the strategy.
No, it's Hannah Schmidt, but yeah.
There's lots of other people.
There's also Jonathan Wheatley was there as well.
Jonathan Wheatley was there, and you've also got GP as well, who has a hand in it. We know this, but ultimately, sometimes it does come down to the TP. And there is that element of, this is what I am doing. And we've seen that, like, last year with Andrea and Papaya Rules, and in effect with Toto and George and Kimmy this year. Bless.
That man is going to need a heart transplant by the end of this season.
I know.
From stress.
But with regards to Red Bull, and especially in 2021, unfortunately, it was Dickhead who was driving most of it.
It was, because he had such a cutthroat hold over that team. Yeah.
Now, again, we do not agree with how Checo was used. We do not agree with any of the ways in which any of the second drivers have been used at Red Bull.
Yeah.
But in that instance, that specific instance of Checo being used as a way to close that gap, and then being used in order to fill up Max, it was just perfect.
It was perfect. And I agree with it being used in that one instance in that time. The trouble is the entire setup of the season led to that point.
Yes.
If it was you've both equally fought this entire time, but Checo now mathematically, it's not possible. We've given you an equal chance and it's now mathematically not possible, so you're now going to support Max. Fine. But it was orchestrated all the way up until that moment, and that's the problem that we have with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, in that if you just take that race as an individual moment, it was masterful.
Oh, 100%.
It was so good. It was so good. It was so good. This is why you have 2 drivers from each team on your track.
Yes.
To have moments like that.
Yes.
It's the definition of a team sport when that happens. So now we've got Lewis in first, Max in second, and Checo in third. And basically, Checo is now going to become a brick wall the other side of Max.
Yes.
To give him all the clean air in the world to allow him to just go after Lewis. It was great. Max comes on the radio, and this is the moment that we referred to earlier. And he goes, Checo is a legend.
Yeah.
And GP responds and goes, absolute animal.
Yeah.
Beautiful exchange.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to clap back to...
Yes.
Shit, I can't remember what race it was. Like a couple of races ago, where Isaac gave Max the toe of a lifetime.
In qualifying.
To get him, I think he posted P3 or P2, didn't he? Absolutely outstanding. sacrificed his, because he had grid penalties, sacrificed his own qualifying completely to allow Max to do that. Max comes on the radio and goes, that's one hell of a toe, to acknowledge what Isaac had done for him.
Yeah.
It's identical.
Absolutely. And we were discussing this and we were saying about how when that happened with Isaac and Max, and everybody was like, oh, isn't that just brilliant? Look at him acknowledging Isaac, you know, fantastic. That is the definition of team players, helping out your teammate. Oh, look at how mature Max is. And, you know, look at how, you know, he's acknowledging the work that Isaac has done and blah, 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 blah. He did it in 21, mate.
He did it in 21, and he did it even more explicitly in 2021 by just going, Checo is a legend.
Yeah.
It was so like a pointed, like, I acknowledge everything that you've just done for me. I wouldn't be in this position right now if you hadn't have just done all of that. Thank you.
GP acknowledges
it in return. Everyone on the pit wall, every single team would have heard that, but Checo's lot would have heard that.
Mm-hmm.
Checo's engineers on the radio going, that was fantastic, thank you, that was brilliant, like, ace. Horner comes on the radio and thanks him as well. Where was that in the media afterwards?
Exactly right.
And I imagine it was overshadowed by what happened.
Everything else.
Fucking everything else. But the point still stands that Max is making comments like that and expressing his maturity, for want of a better phrase, like that. I mean, what, he was 21.
Yeah.
Like, he was expressing that at that moment, at that time, and he was older than 21. Sorry, he was older. I was like, hang on, I was not 21 in 2021. We're the same age. He was older than 21.
Oh my god, how old am I?
How many times a day do I go, how old am I?
Anyway. Quite a lot, actually.
Yeah, he was in his early 20s.
Yes, we'll go with that.
But he expressed that mature, but he also expressed that, like, the nice side of Max, quote unquote. That I hate saying that because every side of Max is nice. Yeah. Like, I do truly believe he is a good human being, but he was expressing that and showing that side, and I doubt a single person fucking acknowledged that at the time.
Not in the British press.
In the British press, no. And oh yeah, it's really irritating. It's really irritating. But that came over the radio, and we both just looked at each other with exactly the same look, which was, that's our Max Verstappen.
Yeah,
that's who we know Max Verstappen is. And because of the narrative of everything, you forget that he was still that Max Verstappen in 2021. It's just everyone blames him directly for taking advantage of a situation that he had no control of.
I mean, I just want to point out that I've always liked.
Well, okay, you've always fine. It's fine. You get on your high horse. That's not the problem.
You lot are all coming into my party now.
I'll find you a fucking stepladder.
Well, I need it, don't I, apparently.
Apparently, to get on that high horse.
Because I'm too short. Anyway. Next.
So that all happens.
Yes.
That all happens, she says casually. So now we're going to move on to a conversation about strategy, because we love to have that conversation, don't we?
We do.
We do. We get really excited about strategy, and I'm not being facetious.
No, we genuinely do. We genuinely do.
So Giovinazzi conks out because he's in an Alfa Romeo. I have no other reason for you. He conks out because he's in an Alfa Romeo.
Bless him.
That is literally it. And he parks up in a pretty, like, not great place, basically, which brings out a virtual safety car.
Yeah.
Which then means a really cheap pit stop. So immediately Max comes in. They pull him in. They don't pull Lewis in.
No.
And it gets questioned at the time, not massively highly, but it gets questioned at the time. We're still relatively young in the race. I think it's only lap 24 or something like that. There's a lot to go. So it doesn't feel as dire or as detrimental at that moment as it then feels like it becomes later on. But at that moment, everyone's like, okay. Lewis is on the radio talking to Bono, like, why, what?
Yeah.
Because Bono's going, okay, the gap is now like 17 point something seconds. And Lewis is like, how? And Bono's explaining, you know, pitting, virtual safety car, gapping, you know, all of this kind of stuff. And Lewis is like, okay, so I've got to maintain on my old hards while he's coming at me on his fresh mediums. And he's going to rake in that. And you can hear in Lewis's voice, like, I'm good, but I'm not sure. Like, I'm not sure. And he wasn't questioning Strat, because actually when it came to Bono, he never questioned Strat. He expressed his opinion, but he never went, what the fuck? Put it this way. If we had a penny for the amount of times he'd gone to Ferrari, what the fuck are we doing? We would be rich people. Whereas with Bono, he barely ever went, what the fuck are you doing? He sort of went, are we sure about this? But Bono's sort of like, no, you know, we're good. It's okay. And nothing really comes of it.
No.
Max is carving the gap, but he's not carving the gap in the way that I think Lewis was probably concerned that he was going to.
Yeah.
So it was feeling fairly cut and dry.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting there at the time thinking, no, we're good. We're good.
Yeah.
We're okay.
I remember this as well, thinking, okay, so as far as I can remember, and again, this is 5 years ago, so the fact that I can remember this, be grateful, people.
It was iconic.
They were all on one stops, which actually for the Yas Marina circuit is standard.
It was then.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was then.
It was then.
It's not now. But you know, you've got it's a fairly sort of middling track, isn't it? And that is 55 laps, so it's not too long. It's not as long as Spa, but then again, nothing's as long as Spa.
It's all about the temperature of
it's all about the temperature,
Abu Dhabi.
And you get.
And it wasn't a hot year.
It wasn't a hot year. It's usually you get out on your mediums, you do your mediums for about 15 to 20 laps, then you get on your hards, and that's it for the end of the race. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much what Mercedes' strategy was.
Yeah, because Abu Dhabi is not the moment to start trying something new.
No.
It doesn't matter what team you are, it's not the moment to go, should we try some soft? No. In
fact, very rarely do you see softs in Abu Dhabi.
Only for quali laps.
Only for quali laps, exactly. So I remember sort of watching it and going, yeah, no, we're good. Yeah. This is Lewis Hamilton. This is the tyre whisperer.
Yeah.
This is the person who can make those hards just carry on till the end.
Yeah.
And still be a good few seconds above everybody else.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
Yeah.
Not an issue. Yeah, okay, so maybe Max has come out on some mediums and, you know, he's got fresher tyres and he's, you know, I'm going to say this, in a better car than the Mercedes. It was in 21. Oh. We are talking the RB19. It is my favourite car in the world.
I'll take it. I will take... you know what? I will take it. There was a moment where I was going to throw Shum at you, but I've reconsidered.
Sorry, Shum.
He's fine. And I will take it.
Okay. But, strategy-wise, I was sitting there, I knew Lewis had it. They had got the strategy right.
At that moment,
At that moment.
Because...
we are talking sort of like mid-40s laps.
Yeah, because how many times... then and since have we had moments where someone is coming for someone else on fresher, better rubber and we're going, oh shit, and then it just kind of doesn't, it sort of fizzles out into nothing because it plateaus. Thank you.
You're very
because
welcome.
the fresh rubber is fresh for 5 laps, and then after 5 laps immediately already your deg's kicking in and you're starting to drop off.
Exactly.
So it's not, the gains are not exponential.
No.
It's opposite. I can't remember what the word for opposite exponential is, where the gap shortens as you go along. What's that called? It's like the opposite of a bell curve. Anyway, there's a word for it. I don't know. Sorry. It's the opposite of exponential. Someone knows what that word is, tell me. So that we've had many a moment where it's like, oh God, they're coming for them. Oh, they haven't quite made it. Yeah. And depending on which driver you're on and who's coming for who. It's either the moment of absolute relief or the moment of tears.
Yes.
And for this one, it was going to be absolute relief.
Yes.
Until a Williams puts it in the wall.
Oh.
Now, Nicholas Latifi.
I was just going to say, shall we, viewers, listeners, shall we guess which Williams it was?
Because it wasn't George Russell, because he'd already parked up in the pits.
Yeah,
so,
bless him.
Bless him. Now, Nicholas Latifi, bless his heart, spent most of his season in the wall. I really feel for him. He wasn't the best of drivers. Across the kind of 2021-22 season, if someone had stuck it somewhere they shouldn't have, it tended to be Mazepin or Latifi.
Yeah.
With a little bit of Giovinazzi thrown in.
Yeah.
Oh,
there's someone in the wall. Is it Latifi again?
Is it Latifi again? Oh, look, I guess it is. So,
Is it Latifi? No, it's Mazepin. Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. So, it wasn't surprising. However, it was on lap 53. And we only do 58 laps around Yas Marina.
Yes.
So it was one of those moments where it was like, oh, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck. And exactly in the same way that the safety car of the last Silverstone race.
Yep.
It was that moment of like, now? Really? Now? We're doing this now? We're doing this now.
We're doing this now.
And, obviously Silverstone, for me, the reason that it was an absolute heart attack was I was like, my driver's about to win. Can you fucking do one? Whereas for this, it was like, hang on, this is championship level. And we're now throwing a very large spanner into the works because he crashed right in the middle of the start-finish straight.
Yeah.
Like, wall him. So, there was no other way. It was a full safety car.
Yeah.
So immediately Max dives into the pits. And everyone's like, yeah, fair. Throw softs on him.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Let's go. Lewis is nowhere to be seen. And this is the moment that no matter what else happened, take out what we know about what else happened, I think that was the moment that Lewis lost the championship.
100%.
And this is to just say that the FIA didn't meddle and whatever. The debate that we've now got is with those lapped cars in between Max and Lewis and the amount of time that we could have had. Would Max have taken all of those lapped cars and got to Lewis on his fresh softs, or would those lapped cars have held him back enough that he couldn't have made it? I am so 50-50 on the fence, but there's a huge part of me that thinks that Lewis had lost the championship at that point.
Yeah, and you've then got to also think, well, if they'd brought Lewis in and put softs on, if they had pulled him in and managed to create a fantastic pit stop. I mean, we were watching and his pit stop was like 2.4 and we're like 2.4 in 21.
A 2.4 in 2021 was very good. Very good.
That is sexy.
Yeah. That's like when they do a 2.1 now.
Or a 1.99.
Or a 1.99 now, and we end up on the floor in a puddle like, oh my God.
Wow, VCARB, what are you doing to us? So they could have, and they had the opportunity, they had the ability to pull Lewis in, put him on softs, and still get him out in front of Max.
But they were twitchy.
They were very twitchy, and they took too long.
They took too long to make the decision. And I understand, in as much as, like, you are 5 laps from the end. Yes, I did just have to count that on my fingers. You are 5 laps from the end, and your driver is in front. So there is probably a massive part of you, and I completely get it, that sat there going, why the fuck would we take that away from him? He's got track position. Just leave him.
And also you've got a safety car, which means you are slowing down, which means you are not putting as much pressure on the tyres, so therefore the degradation is going to drop a little bit. Again, we know how good Lewis was with getting those tyres to the end of a race.
This is the man that finished Silverstone on 3 tyres.
3 tyres,
people.
3 tyres. 3 tyres.
So,
if
like,
you've never seen it, just go on YouTube
just go and watch
it.
I have never been more tense in my life. That's not true. Abu Dhabi 2025, I was more tense.
Oh, Jesus.
However, so now we're talking about it and now I'm thinking about it. I actually completely understand where Mercedes were coming from because of the lapped cars.
Yeah, and again, it would have been difficult getting him in and getting out before Max. He still would have been in a lot of traffic. So again, I understand why Mercedes kept him out, because he was at the front. He had the clean air. He didn't have traffic in front of him. He could very well make those tyres last.
Yeah, but I think that the massively key part of that was, well, Max has come in. He's going to come out behind the lapped cars.
Yeah.
So they literally looked at, what was it, 4 or 5? The 4 or 5 cars.
5,
the 5 cars that were lapped, and went, well, there's our buffer zone. Yes, he's going to be quicker. Yes, he's going to hypothetically have the ability to come for him, but there's our squishy safe zone.
But also,
there's our
well,
buffer.
You're not just looking at that. You're also looking at Latifi and how he crashed and how much debris on the track and how quickly are they going to be able to get it off. Like you say, we're 5 laps now towards the end of the race.
Yeah.
If it's going to be 3 laps in which is the standard, to be fair, 3 laps to get a car off and clear the track
with
debris.
Not a lot of debris.
All right, okay, so that's 3 laps. That means there's 2 laps left. One of those laps is going to be behind a safety car anyway, so then the safety car comes in. We've got 1 lap. No, we can do this.
Yeah, Max is probably not going to take 5 cars and Lewis in 1 lap.
Exactly.
He's good, but he's not that good. And also, your lapped cars, let's remember, are Charles Leclerc, Lando Norris. Like, they're not like back markers that Max is just going to carve past.
No, there was 2 Ferraris, there was 2 McLarens.
Yeah, and decent drivers in those cars.
And Valtteri.
And decent drivers in those cars. I will maintain. I thought about it, but I will maintain. So it's not, they're not just going to roll over and take it.
No.
Charles Leclerc is in that mix. When has he ever rolled over and taken anything from Max? So, like...
No, I can't think of anything.
So, like, I understand the logic. And actually, I said a few minutes ago, I think that was the moment Lewis lost it. I think I'm going to retract my statement, actually, because the more we unpack it, the more I'm thinking, I completely understand where they were coming from. They were safe. Their buffer zone was safe. It might have been safer to have pitted Lewis, but you really just don't know, because you don't know what traffic he would have come out. You just can't tell. There could have been a really horrific moment where they pitted Lewis. Yes, he came out in front of Max, but he came out directly in front of Max. And then the second you send them racing, they're battling, but fuck, they've got traffic around them. That would have been worse.
Yeah.
So maybe that wasn't the point that it was lost. Maybe it was Lewis's the whole time. It's really difficult to say.
It is. However, one thing we will agree on
is what happened next.
Is the FIA fucked it up.
So you can and actually listening to the commentary again.
Yes.
You then remember how just wildly wrong it was. Like you can't
just
at
wrong,
any point.
But how oh gosh, my words have just disappeared, which is great when you're a podcaster.
You interrupted me and then didn't know what you were going to say.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Not just wrong, but how wildly inappropriate.
Inappropriate is an excellent word, because they are so shocked.
Yes.
Martin Brundle and David Croft have seen just about everything in this sport. Martin Brundle raced in the 90s at a time where the rules were something that someone occasionally had a glance at and then threw them in the trash. Set them on fire and walked off. Do you know what I mean? Like,
sometimes written on a napkin.
Yeah. Occasionally a post-it note was passed to someone that went, you probably shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
And then they ignored it. Like, they
went and had a drink in the pub at the end of the day.
Precisely.
And went,
The drivers were probably half cut getting in the cars. Like, like there wasn't, like, the 90s were worse than the 60s, right?
Oh God, yeah.
For just complete chaos. So these guys have seen everything, and one of them has raced in very questionable conditions. And they were like, hang on a second, the FIA are saying that the lapped cars can go past them. And then literally 10 seconds later, they're going, and the safety car's coming in.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
So the FIA deemed that those 5 cars were allowed to unlap themselves. So they were literally between Lewis and Max.
Literally.
So they overtook Lewis, overtook the safety car, and sped off to then rejoin. And there was probably a quarter of a lap left.
So yeah, I think it was turn 13, turn 14 that they started to just zoom past.
So there was a quarter of a lap left before the safety car came in. The next thing Lewis knows, there is a Max Verstappen literally with his nose next to him.
So fucking close. And I've got to admit, the one thing that the end of this race did do in regards to future rules is that when we are now at a restart position from a safety car going in, the cars are not allowed to go any further than the car in front of you. You can go right up to the backside of it.
Yes, but you can't go any car length.
The side and
no, I think you can just about manage and nose the other side of their rear wheel, but you're pushing it.
Just about.
You are really pushing it.
Yeah.
When I was watching that, there were moments, and I will defend Max to the hilt.
Yeah.
But there were moments where his nose was ahead of Lewis.
Yes, just a little bit, but yes, if you were to freeze frame it.
Yeah, that was inches, but there were. And again, I now draw back to the question that we asked at the beginning.
Did we?
What would you have done? If you were in that position where it was the second he puts his foot down, I'm allowed to put my foot down. This championship is going to be won by inches, not hundreds of meters, not laps. What would you have done?
Yeah.
Would you have been nosing up and going, I'm here, I'm coming for you, or would you have held back?
And again, we've said this before, Max knows the rules. Max doesn't just know the rules for like this year or last year. Max has always known the rules. Max knows how to drive because he knows the rules. It's not just simply the fact that he spends all the time in the Sims and he likes to drive, and it's not just, you know, a job for him. It is literally his life. He has spoken so many times about how much he loves being in a car and driving, but it's not just about being in the car. It's about knowing the car. It's about knowing the track, but knowing the rules as well, because if you don't know the rules, then you don't know how to drive.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that there are drivers on the track that don't know the rules. They all know the rules.
They all do, but it's about, and we've had this conversation on the pod before, it's about knowing where those lines are and knowing what you can push. Formula One is not about following the rules. It's about working out where there is just that slight amount of give in them. It's about working out how to break the rules within the rules. And that sounds like a ridiculous statement, but that's literally what the teams do with new regulations. Yep. Here are your new regulations and here are the rules. Well, how can we ever so slightly...
Yeah. Where's that little loophole that I can use to give ourselves that little bit of an edge?
That you can stand back and go, technically it's not breaking the rules.
It's in the rules.
And that's how Max drove. And that's what Max brought to the grid in 2017 when he first was put in that car.
Yes.
And everyone stepped back and went, shit, this kid is good. Is because he knew the rules so well that he could immediately begin to push them.
So when we're looking at that final lap, and well, not even the final lap, the lap before, the penultimate lap, the safety car comes in and Lewis is just looking for that perfect point to restart, and you have got Max side by side. It's genuinely such a sexy such a sexy look.
But it's as terrifying as it is sexy. Because you don't see Formula One cars side by side very often.
No.
You just don't. In any era.
No.
Because if they're side by side, there's probably not enough space for them to be, and one of them's going to be off in a second. So they were obviously travelling slow enough that it was like a cool down victory lap for teammates.
Yeah.
In the way that they were side by side, they were moving together, they were going through the corners together. It was like when teammates pair up to do a cool down victory lap. It was that close. This is why we don't get safety car restarts in the way that we used to now.
Yep.
Is because, like you say, they've now paired it back, but also it's why someone just puts their foot down and goes, and it's not very often that the person behind them can take them, is because reaction times are it's just different now. It takes longer to react. Lewis knows that he has got to do it at a point that Max least expects it, but also at a point where Max has taken a second to drop back. He knows that he's got, and actually when you look at it, beautiful restarts. Considering the pressure he was under, and the circumstances that he was faced with, he picked a stunning moment to make that restart happen. Max had dropped back so that his nose was like level with Lewis's rear wheels, which was the furthest back he had been completely since the safety car had come in, and Lewis goes. And it was like, considering, can you imagine being in that cockpit at that moment?
The amount of thoughts that are going to be bouncing around your head. You know, you're like, shit, if I win this, it's my 8th championship. Shit, if I do this right, this is what's going to happen. Right, shit, what's he doing?
Yeah.
What the fuck's that? Where am I going? What the fuck? Yeah, no, I know 100% I would have just slammed the brakes on and gone, fuck this shit, I'm out.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Yeah. Yeah, like,
the pressure has broken me.
Because you can't, but it's one of those, you can't do anything else.
No.
You can't tap out.
No.
And you also can't be tactical. There was no tactics going on there. It was just raw, I've got to put my foot down and drive.
It is racing in its purest form.
It's racing in its purest form. And we are missing so much of that now, but that's another conversation.
We did promise to stop talking about the 26 rags.
Did we?
We did.
Did we?
Yeah, I think
that was a stupid thing for us to do. But you're right, it is racing in its purest form, because it's just who is going to put their foot down and go the hardest. And Lewis's restart is stunning, and it's so good. And I remember thinking, I think we're going to be okay. Yeah. One lap. You've just got to hold on for one lap.
Yeah.
But 23 lap old mediums.
Yeah.
Versus
4 laps.
And safety car warm softs.
Yeah.
So Max takes him back, and
by turn 4.
By turn 4, and the entire world is like, shit. But there's no DRS.
There's no DRS.
And this was something that we both forgot.
Yeah.
Because for the first 2 laps of every race, the DRS was not turned on, and then it gets turned on. And then for the first 2 new laps post safety car, it's not turned on, and then it gets turned on, because it's a safety thing. No one's tyres are quite up to temperature yet, so they didn't allow DRS. They used to turn DRS off at certain moments, you know, if it got too wet and things like that. There was no DRS.
No.
So Max takes him on raw power and raw speed, and then Lewis has got to take him back on raw power and raw speed, but with very different rubber.
Yeah.
And this is where the strategy moment is, oh shit, if Lewis had just been on softs.
Yeah.
But Mercedes were working on that buffer zone.
Yeah.
They were working on those cars being between Max and Lewis to make sure that they had a buffer zone. Their buffer zone has been taken away from them.
And I think there is a moment when you're watching it, whether you're watching the full race, highlights, doesn't matter, they will all show this. The moment the notification comes through that the lapped cars can unlap themselves, there is a bit where it goes straight to the Mercedes garage, and that is, well, it's now a meme, isn't it? Of Toto,
no, Mikey, no.
Just being so fucking angry that he throws his headphones down.
He just takes them off and slams them down. And you can get it. And he is fighting the FIA. I don't think Toto's eyes were on a screen watching his driver on that last lap at all.
No.
Because he was on to Michael going, what are you doing?
Yeah.
This is not right.
Yeah.
What have you done?
Yeah.
And he says that before the lapped cars move.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's saying that the entirety of the last lap. This is wrong. This isn't right. What have you done? This is not... But the way that Lewis stays with him,
it's just magnificent. And this is why Lewis is the GOAT.
Yeah, because he is at such a disadvantage from start to finish, and he remains either on Max's rear wing or halfway down the side of him for the entirety of that last lap, to the point in which I can categorically say I genuinely believed that he was going to cross the line first.
Yeah.
I categorically believed it.
100%.
Until Max crossed the line. Even after everything that had happened and the major disadvantages that Lewis was under, I still thought Lewis had it. But again, I'll come back to that question. What would you have done?
Yeah.
You have just been presented with a situation where you were not on a level playing field.
Yep.
And you've just been given a level playing field. Through means that are not fair, but you've just been given a level playing field.
Yeah.
You are Max Verstappen. You are in your early 20s. You literally have your first championship dangled in front of you like a donkey in a carrot. What are you going to do?
Well, obviously slow down and let Lewis win his 8th. No!
And this is so whenever anyone then personally attacks Max and only Max for what happened, I will jump to defend him until the ends of the earth.
Yeah.
Because sure, you're going to slow down and allow Lewis his 8th title.
No.
Fuck off, are you?
No.
Attack the FIA all you like.
100%.
Because I completely agree with them. The FIA lost Lewis his 8th World Championship.
100%.
Max Verstappen did not lose Lewis his 8th World Championship.
No.
And that's the key distinction that I want to make. The reason that we're defending Max is not because we think that he deserved it more than Lewis.
No.
It's because it wasn't his fault.
Exactly. I mean, since that race, there has been so much, and admittedly, I will say, from the British media and press and British commentators and social commentators. There's like every now and again it comes around on social media and it does make me laugh.
It has to make you laugh because it makes you cry otherwise.
Yeah. But it's a joke. Teacher, what was the cause of the end of the British Empire? Student, Max Verstappen, 21. It's brilliant. It's so fucking brilliant.
It's a fantastic meme. It is a fantastic meme.
However,
yeah.
However, it has come from the British perception that it's Max's fault, and it is not Max's fault. And I know that watching that, I will say this, when Max crossed the line, I was very much, oh, for fuck's sake! Lewis deserved that. Yeah. He deserved it so much. Yeah. And then almost immediately after, I remember watching it and hearing the radio of GP absolutely losing his shit and Max like crying on the radio. And I remember thinking, that's just racing. That's racing. And obviously 5 years later, we are still discussing this. Because it needs to be discussed.
We will be discussing this forever. Like, Abu Dhabi 2021 is never going to be laid to rest.
God,
ever.
No.
Ever.
And, I'm happy that we're both on the same page with it. That, it wasn't Max's fault. Lewis deserved to be 8th world champion. And I will defend that to my grave.
It is the hill I will die on.
Exactly. However, that being said, seeing Max win his first championship at 23?
Thank you for doing the math for me.
Thank you very much.
Was I 2023? Was I 23 in 2021? Yeah, I was, wasn't I?
Yeah. Becoming the youngest world champion ever. Watching him on that podium, and I think that genuinely for me would have been the moment where I'm like, why are people calling him Mad Max? Because I never saw it.
The moment he clings on to his dad.
Oh, we're not getting there.
No, well, we're going to skirt around what we really think about it, because I think Jos Verstappen is an entire other podcast, but we could be done for defamation if I went there. We're not going to go there.
No.
But he hugs his dad and then he holds on.
Yeah.
And his dad goes to pull back and Max just holds on. And he is that kid that spent his entire childhood going around karting tracks and being brilliant.
Yeah.
And the radio, I mean, that radio is burnt into my brain in the same way that Charles's Monaco win is burnt into my brain.
Yeah.
GP is the calmest,
Yes,
most level-headed,
yes,
most, like, sometimes monotone man.
Sometimes, yeah, which makes his quips all the more funnier.
Yes. Sarcastic, deadpan in the world. And he screams down that radio.
Yeah.
And he has had this kid for 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And he was, in his own words, wildly intimidated by this kid when he first came in. And said himself, if he hadn't have been in the sport for a good few years before Max had come to him, he probably would have quit because he wouldn't have known how to handle him.
Yeah.
And he took him in and he went, this is what we're going to do. And this is how we're going to make you a champion.
Yeah.
The level of job satisfaction that that man must have felt in that moment is probably beyond all of our wildest dreams. And the way that he breaks on the radio and and Max is just screams in return. It's stunning, right? It's stunning. And it's probably made even more, like, overtly emotional on the radio in that moment, because I truly believe that Max didn't think he had it until his nose was against Lewis's on that lap as the safety car came in. Max had probably resigned himself to the fact, I'll fight till the bitter end, but I think he's got the upper hand on me.
Yeah.
And then suddenly 2 laps to the end, you've got a chance.
Yeah.
Shit. I can't even begin to imagine. That entire moment from then onwards curated the Max Verstappen that we have today.
Yes.
He couldn't have won his championship without his teammate, and he couldn't have won his championship without his engineer and his team.
Yep.
But he acknowledges all of that.
He does.
In the post-race interview with Jenson Button, which jarred me a little bit because Jenson was only just out of the sport. And I was like, oh yeah, you were there already. Jesus Christ. And yet all we get about that championship is the way that it happened and what happened with the effort. I get it entirely. I get it. But I just don't think we give that entire thing enough credit for what it is, which was that it was a bloody beautiful moment for a very good driver because it should have been a bloody beautiful moment for a different driver.
Yeah.
And that's the marring of it. I would love to sit down with them both.
Yeah.
No cameras, no media, off the record, promise them that I took it to my grave, other than telling you.
Obviously. Excuse me, I'd be there with you.
Okay, sorry, you'd be there. And ask them how they both truly feel about it. And this could be a wild assumption and also me living a little bit in not the real world and being a little bit idealistic. But I really have a feeling that Max would say, I never wanted to win like that. And Lewis would say, I never wanted to lose like that. Neither of them acknowledging that one or the other should have won or should have lost, and not Lewis having hard feelings about the fact that he lost, but both of them acknowledging that it shouldn't have happened like that.
I think you're right.
I could be being entirely idealistic and putting them on a bit of a pedestal, but I really do both feel like both of them would go, it's not the result, it's the way that it happened.
I don't know. I think it's probably true because, again, like we've already said, these drivers know the rules. They know how to race because of the rules. They know all of the little intricacies of racing. And I think that, and not just with that race, but with a lot of other races, with a lot of other decisions and things like that, we know, especially this year, we know that they have major driver debriefs and things are said.
Oh, things are said.
Things are said.
Oh, things are said. To be a fly on the wall.
Oh, I know, right?
Oh, my God.
We know that because things are said, the FIA, they, as much as we, really have been shitting on them this year,
for good reason.
For very good reason.
It's not, yeah.
They do take that constructive criticism and feedback.
I'm not sure. I don't know how constructive it is sometimes.
And they try and work with it. They do work with the drivers. I would love to know if either of them, after that race, actually went to the FIA and went, I'm not happy with that.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
I'm not happy of how that was handled, how that went. I would have preferred this to have happened or that to have happened. And I would love to know if either one or both did. And that is now the reason why we've got certain rules.
Yeah.
I.e., when you've got a safety car restart, you are not allowed to be any more than half a car length.
Or whatever the official,
in front of the next car.
Yeah.
I would love to know if that's why we've got certain rule changes. Like, we know, for example, and it is widely talked about, that because of certain accidents, we've now got the halo.
Yeah.
We know, for example, because of this year, the incident that we had with Franco and Ollie and the absolute stupidity of ranges in braking and
closing
power
speeds,
recharge and closing speeds and all the rest of it, that the FIA went, all right, okay, maybe we'll have a look at this and has changed the rules and changed battery components and power units and all the rest of it. We know that they do listen. I would love to know how much Lewis and Max influenced that rule change because of that race.
And you know that Toto would have been
100%
in that office
he would have marched in with his lawyers behind him
for about 5 hours
for like the horsemen of the apocalypse.
Yeah, literally. Thought experiment.
Ooh, lovely.
If Horner hadn't have been leading that team, if Laurent had been leading that team at that time, what reaction would we have had? Now, I'm not saying, because there is no one on this earth that would have looked at that situation and not taken advantage of it, driver or team. Like,
100%.
I'm not saying that because Laurent was in charge and he's just fundamentally a better person than Christian Horner, that he then would have turned around and gone, Max, you need to hold back and allow, look, because this isn't fair. That's not what would have happened. 1,000% no. But if it was Laurent and not Horner, what conversations would have happened? Would there have been some level of being slightly humble about what was served to them on a platter?
Genuinely, I think if it was Laurent, at the time of the racing, nothing would have been said about Max being so close to Lewis, but he certainly would have had a earful.
Do you think afterwards I and think going so. That, you know, that
Laurent has that way about him of he will not be as public about things like that until he has had the chance to speak to his drivers, to speak to the teams, to actually have a proper debrief and go through it all. And then he will come out and say, well, XYZ or ABC.
And it's less what he would have done at the time, because as I say, I don't believe anyone would have reacted differently. No matter who you'd put in that situation, they would have taken full advantage and allowed Max to win. It's the recognition afterwards.
Yeah.
Horner was in full, well, it was always Max's championship. Look what we did. We won. We were brilliant. Absolutely no acknowledgement that actually a second chance and a second opportunity was handed to them on a platter.
100% Laurent would be completely different.
I think there would be an acknowledgement of
Lewis, Mercedes.
Yeah.
And also the circumstances around it.
And we are seeing that more with team principals in recent years than we ever had before.
Yeah.
I will forever remember the only time I ever respected Zach Brown last year.
Yeah.
Was the moment that he said, well, we're just benefiting off other people's mistakes at the moment. And it was true at that time because they weren't like fully there yet. And there was that acknowledgement. And we've had that a few times in recent years from team principals where they've turned around and gone, well, yeah, we did pretty well, but we should have been a bit better because X, Y, Z. And also many acknowledgements of what safety cars have given and done. And nothing to take away from the drivers abilities and skills and whatever, but an acknowledgement of circumstances.
Yeah.
There was no acknowledgement of circumstances from Red Bull, and I don't think there ever has been.
God, no.
I think there would have been under different management.
100%.
And maybe that was all anyone ever needed. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that was all anyone ever needed to just take the heat off Max a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good thought experiment.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Is there anything else we need to discuss? Because I think we've done a pretty damn good job.
That was, you know what? That wasn't as all over the place and emotional as I thought it was going to be. We were quite level-headed about that.
We've kept it in.
Yeah.
We did, have a few tears watching the...
We did. It was really interesting. The moment that we both teared up at it was the moment we heard GP on the radio.
Yeah.
That was the moment.
Yeah.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but for me, it's partly fueled by everything that the GP's been through in recent years, and knowing that he's leaving Red Bull, and knowing that his and Max's relationship is going to end at some point, whether that be the end of this year because Max has had enough, or whether it's when he goes to McLaren, or if Max follows him, or whatever it might be.
I didn't want to think about that. But
sorry, I'm so sorry, but that's partly what was fueled for me by it, is like hearing that moment with them, the first time that they had that, and knowing that they're never going to have that again.
For me, it was more of a just hearing it again for the however manyth time, because God knows I cannot tell you how many times I've heard that radio. But just hearing it again and just cementing the whole fatherly relationship he has with Max.
Yeah, absolutely.
And obviously knowing the things that we know now, how much Max needed that.
Yeah. Again, we'll stay away from that because there could be a defamation lawsuit coming our way. One thing we will never speak about on this podcast: Jos Verstappen.
I was going to say something, but I'm not going to say
exactly
anything.
That's why.
Yeah. So, it's like you say, it is a race that will probably still be discussed 20, 30, however many years from now. We will probably still be discussing it.
Oh,
forever.
I tell you what, we should start a Formula SideQuest bingo. Because I can tell you, I've listened to some older episodes recently, and the amount of times when we're pissed off with the FIA that we reference Abu Dhabi 21 is fucking ridiculous, and we probably ought to stop. So we should have a Formula SideQuest bingo or drinking game every time we mention Abu Dhabi 21, take a shot. You'll be fucked by the end of it. If everyone listened to episodes in succession, hammered.
Yeah. Sorry about that, people.
Yeah.
Please do not start a drinking game.
Don't start a drinking game.
On that. I mean, you can start drinking games on all sorts of things, but not how many times we mention Abu Dhabi 21. I do not want to be responsible for that. No.
It would be hospitalisation.
Yeah. So, yeah. We've obviously discussed it. We've sat down, we've watched it. We've come to the conclusion that actually what we thought all along was correct.
That is the most us statement you've ever made.
Yeah.
We reviewed the facts.
And
it turns out that we were right all along.
Yeah. Oh, look, we were right. Why aren't we working in F1? No, I know.
I do know.
Yeah. We just 1, we don't live anywhere near. 2, we haven't got the... I'm not going into this. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. We did. We genuinely did.
Yeah, we did.
Because it's... to be perfectly honest, Abu Dhabi 21 is a turning point for a lot of different reasons. A lot of different reasons.
Yeah, it is. You're right.
And that is probably one of the reasons why it will still be talked about.
Yeah, very true.
However, we are not going to talk about it any longer because we've talked enough already. So thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this very, very, very extra long podcast.
What are we on?
1 minute 22.
Oh, shit. Okay. Well, it was always going to happen. It was always going to happen, people. It was always going to happen. This was always going to be our longest podcast ever.
Yeah.
Unless Charles Leclerc wins the championship, and then it's going to be an hour and a half of Shannon talking about how good Charles Leclerc is.
Oh no, it's Lewis this year. Lewis is getting his 8th this year.
Welcome to Formula SideQuest, the most delusional podcast on the market. I think you might be right. I'm kind of behind you.
No.
I'm kind of behind you, but I'm not going to fully say it.
No, I know.
But we might be able to do it.
Right.
You know.
I know. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. This is Formula Side Quests, your mostly on-topic Formula One podcast with me, Kelly.
And me, Shannon.
Bye.
Bye.